again to the July 2023 PIHRA member orientation. I'm very happy to be here with you today. My name is Lily Arguello. I'm going to introduce myself a little bit more in a bit, but we will be spending the next 60 minutes together. What else? What else I want to tell you? Don't worry about taking too many notes. Whatever's on the PowerPoint, we're going to forward to you later today within an hour after the orientation is completed. Again, we're going to spend 60 minutes together. This is being recorded, so when we email you out the deck, we will also send you not access, but the link to our YouTube channel where you'll be able to find the recording to this orientation and other orientations that we've done in the past, so that you can listen back to what maybe something you didn't catch or want to take some other notes on something, or if you have to leave early, absolutely understand. Those recordings are there for you. Feel free. At first, let's use the chat box. I have some partners and guests here with me that will be monitoring the chat box. I will also be pausing from time to time to look through the chat box. We want to make sure that the next 60 minutes is about answering your questions. I want to make sure whether you're a current member, a potential member, or perhaps a member who hasn't been around PIHRA for a long time, that your questions get answered in the next 60 minutes. So you walk away saying, okay, I got what I need. I know what I know what I need to get the most out of the PIHRA membership, and really find out about the professional development or the membership benefits and tools, or whatever it is you want to walk away from. I want to make sure you have that before you leave here. So let's talk a little bit about what we're doing today. I have an agenda. So we're in the welcome portion right now. I want to give you a general update, and this is something that I started after the pandemic started, but I want to continue it because we're still in recovery mode there. We also are going to take a poll up front. We'll take a poll because, again, I want to hear what the number one thing you want to walk away from and get and receive in terms of information from this webinar. Now, say there's 2 or 3 things that you want to walk away from, not a problem. Just put it in the chat. I will be touching on about almost all the aspects of PIHRA as an association and as a membership organization. So I should be able to cover everything. What this poll will help me do is focus on those things that most of you want to hear about. So please participate in the poll. Then I'll do a little bit of a more in-depth introduction of myself and of the membership team and of our special guest, who I'm really excited about, Meryl Botello. She's there if you want to wave, Meryl, so everyone can see you. She is the chair of PIHRA Riverside. So we have some great things to talk about in terms of the plans that that chapter has. And then I'll provide an overview of PIHRA, just very holistic, our mission and who we're affiliated with. Then focus in on the member benefits, including talking significantly about our 17 chapters. And then we'll switch over to talk about the professional development opportunities that we provide, and just wrap up any questions you have at the end. So I should take up the whole hour, again, depending on the questions we receive from you. And I say, let's get going. And I see some familiar faces. Thank you so much for joining, Sadhna. I know we've spoken before. And let's see if I can curse over. I don't know if I know. I see any. I do see a couple of familiar names. So thank you again for joining. Okay, general update. So I am so excited. You know, the pandemic was caused some rapid change for a lot of people, including PIHRA. We went totally virtual. You know, if you're a little familiar with PIHRA, we had 17 chapters that used to meet monthly. Well, that all stopped. We had a fantastic annual conference that was in person, usually in Anaheim and Long Beach. couldn't do that, but we went virtual. And the good part about that is that we built that expertise in virtual professional development. And so fast forward to 2021, we started offering some in person, but really built up our virtual offering. So I'm excited that we offer up to 3 webinars a month, professional development webinars that are free for members. So if you're not a member, you're going to be charged for these webinars, and they're pretty fantastic. I just was on one that Temecula Valley hosted about. This is not the title, but it was about civility in the workplace and how to mend damaged relationships at work. And it was a fantastic. Greg Ward was a speaker, and it was just fantastic. So I encourage you to sign up for a webinar. Currently, most of our chapters are hosting in-person chapter meetings and or socials. Now, like I said earlier, before the pandemic, our chapters, we have 17 of them. I would estimate 14 to 15 of them met monthly at the same time every month. So for example, and I'm just giving an example, this might not be the exact date or time, but PIHRA Burbank Glendale would meet out of Burbank on the 3rd Thursday of every month at 7:30 for breakfast. Actually, I think it's lunch. They would meet at 11:45 every month. And so some chapters are doing that. Actually, Burbank Glendale is meeting every month. For example, others are changing it up. So a great example is PIHRA North Orange County. What they've decided to do is I believe they're doing 1 month, they're doing a morning professional development event. The next month, they're doing a lunchtime professional development event. And then the 3rd month, they're doing a social. So I know last month they were at the Foundation Room at the House of Blues at downtown Disney. Fantastic. Yesterday, they had a lunch event. So it really just depends. All of our chapters are doing something a little differently. And the reason is that we want to make sure that we accommodate our members and the HR community, giving them the time frames that are most convenient for them, and also the professional development that they need. Okay, what else? So all that to say, visit the PIHRA calendar frequently. We're always putting meetings up there, and we have free chats. We're starting a chat series that I'm doing next week on July 28th, I think it is. I am working with a volunteer leader to do a chat all around the top trends in talent acquisition, and those are free. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that platform in a little bit, but that's an update. We're back in business, we're back in person, and we're providing even more professional development online and in person than we had pre-pandemic. So there's no lack, and that's the richness. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that, about PIHRA, is that there's always something going on in one of our chapters. Okay. So I told you about the poll. So at least at here, my right hand is going to launch the poll, if that's okay. And let me know, what do you walk away from in the next 15 minutes? Because I want to focus on those areas for you. I don't see anyone answering it. What do you want to focus? Oh, here we got some answers. Great. HR certification is coming in with 2 people. 4 people, HR certification, great. If you have specific questions about HR certification, please put them in the chat. Volunteering, monthly meetings, benefits, volunteering. Okay, 7 out of 7. I think that we are displaying the results. Yes. So 4 out of 7 of you want to hear about HR certification. Again, please let me know what specific questions you have. I just I'm going to stop sharing, if that's okay. I just became, oh, I didn't share the results, or did I? Please let me know if you saw the results.
I shared them. I think you stopped sharing them, but they're gone now.
Fantastic. Oh, good. You saw them. All right. Perfect. So I just got certified in 2021. So I know that it could be a challenge and that there might be a lot of questions. So again, if you have a specific question about certification, please put it in the chat and we'll be covering it as we go along. So I'm here in the middle. My name is Liliana Arguello. Everyone calls me Lily. That's fantastic. I love my job. I love working at PIHRA. I love meeting all of you. I started my career at a boutique organizational consulting firm. And so my background is in organizational development consulting. I specialized in strategic planning and organizational assessments and went on to do management training. So I know the life of HR. I feel very connected with HR. I got this job through LinkedIn. So if you don't have a strong LinkedIn profile, build it now. I have a professional photo on there. I'll introduce you to my boss in a moment. I'm just reading some of the. Okay, great. So I love sharing my experience as a consultant, as working as a partner with HR. And when I got the job, I was at the the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles. I was in membership there, and a little different from my job here, I was doing partnership building in the inner city. So I was promoting one of the largest leadership development programs for young women in the world in the inner cities of LA. So this was a great marriage between my experience on the membership side and my organizational development experience. So I love working here. And really quickly, let me introduce you to the person on my left, Matthew Pallets. We are primarily volunteer led. So one of you said you're interested in volunteering. We have a volunteer here with us, so she could talk about her experience, but Matt is also a volunteer. He is my connection with the PIHRA board. And I'll talk a little bit about the structure of PIHRA in a moment. But he is my right hand on the board, very accessible. He is what I call a service provider. So I don't know that business that well, and I think Meryl, who's my guest, might be able to help with this, but he is a benefits broker, but he is passionate about HR. He is committed to knowing what HR's pain points are, very accessible and knowledgeable about the community. And I can't do what I do without him. So if you ever want to speak to a volunteer, this is his contact information, and he's just a great guy. I would also like to have Elisette Sapian unmute and introduce herself. Now.
Thanks, Lily. Hi, everyone. I am Elisette Sapian. I'm the membership coordinator here at PIHRA. And I'm usually the first person you may speak to if you dial the main number. Like Lily mentioned, we're a very accessible team. We're growing now. During the pandemic, we were around 5 team members, but now we are fully staffed. We're a team about 9 or 10 now. And we're all very accessible, like I mentioned, and we're here to assist you. If you have more questions after the webinar, feel free to contact us. Our information is on the slide, and yeah, I will also be monitoring the chat box if you have more questions throughout the webinar today, so we can address them. Thank you, Lily.
Thank you, Elisette. So Elisette, copy me or Elisette. I'm committed to replying and responding within 24 hours to any sort of requests that we receive. Usually I'm replying even more quickly. because I don't want you to have a question about your membership or have a question about becoming a member, because technology is technology. Sometimes technology gets in the way. Sometimes you just need to get enough information to convince your supervisor to help you pay for this. So I'm committed to responding as soon as I can, and or researching your question and getting back to you or connecting you with someone that can answer that question. So at least that is a great resource for you, and we're committed to getting back to you as soon as we can. So now, without more waiting, I want Meryl to unmute and introduce herself. So excited to have you, Meryl.
Hi, thank you. Hey everyone, Meryl Botello here. I'm the chair of PIHRA Riverside, and it's been about 2 years. I joined as a volunteer maybe 4 years ago, but was elected chair in the middle of COVID. I remember getting a call, and you get like elected, you get referred. And I was in Mexico on vacation, and I said, sure, put my name in, and here I am. And it is definitely a passion project. My background as an employee benefits consultant is the last 15 years. But before that, I graduated from Cal Poly Pomona, HR, MHR years ago. And that also enabled me to help out the college piece, Cal Poly PIHRA chapter there. So for me, just having a background of HR, one of my strengths is positivity. I'm also empathetic. It really helps me, just help guide the rest of our board to really create something special for our members. And when I think about creating something special, PIHRA is just that place that we can have that creative side come out. We could have the compliance. If you're super into compliance, we got that covered too. And so I just love it. I'm glad everybody's here and have joined. I really recommend going to different chapters, go to the topics that speak to you, where you feel good, go to the events where you have that feel good moment after a really hard day at work. I know you're dealing with, a lot of different personalities. If you need that space where you have like-minded people in the HR world, come to an event. And speaking of, can I talk about what's going on, like my events that are coming on? Do you mind?
Yeah, and we're gonna have more time for you to talk about that. But yes, please talk about PIHRA Riverside. I
Yeah,
want to go too. I wish I
yeah.
could.
I know, but we're doing it again, and it's fresh on my mind because yesterday I went with my fellow board member Susan, and we are hosting an event August 10th at Punch Bowl Social in Rancho Cucamonga. So if you're familiar with Victoria Gardens, that's where it's at. And I'm going to tell you how it started, because it's kind of going to let you know like what PIHRA is about. We have board member meetings every month at PIHRA Riverside. We alternate between webinars, in person, and just we want to get people in, but we also know you're pretty busy. So we also do coffee chats. We want some variety. But what happened was someone's like, hey, I went to this fun event, or I just went to this restaurant, Punch Bowl Social. I think they have a good meeting space. So one of our board members said that. And then one of our speakers, Tiana, who lives in Rancho, says, oh, I just went to a tequila tasting. All these conversations.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
Tiana, I love her.
Yes, me too. So she's going to be speaking in September. But let me tell you, we just set up this meeting and all these conversations started, diehard PIHRA people. And I was like, you know what? Let's check it out. So I took my family one weekend and I went to the restaurant, and then I ended up sitting with the general manager and the event planner. And here we go. So now we have an event August 10th. We expect 50 to 100 people to do tequila tasting, and it is such a good welcoming vibe. And Susan and I went yesterday to finalize the details, and we're beyond excited. We just really care about our members, not just in Riverside, but just everywhere that could just get to Rancho at a decent time, right? Get out. We want anybody to come because then you will feel the energy of what PIHRA brings to the table. Again, like I said, there's definitely that compliance piece, getting your HR credits, and connecting with people, but the networking, we're able to bring it to another level. You be yourself, you bring a friend. We're very open, and we try to make it as affordable as possible. So my negotiating skills that I bring to the table are my negotiating skills, and then my ability to party plan, and then just get it all together and get all people to be involved. So our next event's August 10th. And I know that was pretty long, but I wanted to share to you how that synergy of just connecting and networking really works. And if you're one of those people that just loves to make things happen, get involved and volunteer. And Lily and Elizette are so helpful. I probably asked Lily the most random questions, but here she goes. Both of you are always teaming up to answer. So for me, as far as being a chair at PIHRA Riverside, I'm grateful. We have such a good board mixed with VP of HRs. We have HR generalists. We have other brokers. We all just want to make, this PIHRA chapter the best it could be. And you're welcome to join anytime. Feel free to send me an email or message me. We could always work out sponsorships like students. We have a sponsorship for students. And if you're a first timer, just email me. We want to get you involved. So don't worry too much about you not being in our chapter, right? You could go ahead and join and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just to piggyback on what Meryl's talking about, it is critical. And I challenge all of you. I know, Renee, you were saying, I want to get connected with the downtown LA chapter. I was just at their social event the day before yesterday. They're fantastic. They're not meeting as much as they used to. They're still getting acclimated and trying to find an affordable venue, because we do try to make this all affordable, but get connected. And I challenge all of you to go to at least 2 PIHRA events in the next 6 months. Now, that's not a lot, and there's a lot going on. So Meryl just told you about one of the fun sides of PIHRA and HR. Let's go have some tequila and talk to Tiana Sanchez, who's probably one of the most dynamic executive coaches around and career coaches. She donates her time. So I think Elisette put the link on how to register for the PIHRA Riverside event, and it's an evening event. So, maybe get off a little early, invite a colleague or invite your significant other. And if you are shy, because I tend to get a little social awkward before getting, a little nervous before going anywhere, email me, email Elisette. Contact Meryl via LinkedIn. I don't know, Meryl, if you put your LinkedIn yet, or if you want to put your email.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
One of us will, if you're not going to Riverside, we'll introduce you to someone that we know will be at the event. It is one, build your community. 2, if you are looking for a position in HR, that's where you're going to find out about positions that are open. So go to in-person events. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. I want to quickly go through an overview of the association, just to give you a sense of who we are. Yes, Renee, you missed it. It was really fun, but it was kind of hot. We were at Union Station. So hopefully the next one is at the City Club, which is very nice and air conditioned. So PIHRA, who are we? What do we do? Well, our mission, you could read the mission here, but we exist for the human resources community in California. We're California focused, and we do that through providing innovative programming, professional development, and high impact networking opportunities. That is what differentiates us from other HR associations. The communities that are built throughout, and I'm going to show you a map of our 17 chapters. Those communities are so rich and strong. When you join PIHRA, you will select one of them as your preferred chapter. So as Meryl was saying, say, for example, Renee, you live in downtown LA, you select your preferred chapters, PIHRA Los Angeles, but that doesn't stop you from going to a PIHRA Riverside event if it's something that you think you'll enjoy, or there's a topic that is not being covered in your area and is an HR topic that is of significance to you in your career or at your company. Just register online in advance. And what I love about PIHRA is that when I speak to members, I say, what is the number one thing you come to PIHRA for? What most impacted you? And I get two responses. One is, I've made lifelong relationships through PIHRA. So that when I'm going to switch to the other side. When I am in difficulty at work, sometimes I've worked with HR professionals. It can get tough. You're dealing with sensitive information, a lot of politics. Um, Sometimes it's lonely. You may not be able to go to a colleague and ask their advice because you just don't feel comfortable doing that. Well, this is where you could build those colleagues of sounding boards where, like, you got a sexual harassment issue or some difficult employee, you call your PIHRA friends, like, how did you deal with this? Have you ever done this before? I call it creating your HR board of advisors. I had another volunteer who said they had their HR Fab Five on speed dial. So those fabulous 5 HR professionals that you call at a drop of a dime when, excuse the language, but all hell's breaking loose at the office. You want someone to talk to. So let me introduce you to some key players. I said already, we are primarily volunteer led. So we have a board that governs the entire association. Tara Fournier here is the president of the PIHRA board. Gosh, I always forget, there's probably 11 members of the board, and they have connections with our chapters through regions. So we're separated into regions, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into when I show you the map of our chapters. She is extremely knowledgeable. She is a SHRM SCP, as you see here, and an SPHR. She is the president for the next couple of years, and she has extensive background in HR management and development. And she's currently the chief people officer for Enthusiast Gaming out here in Culver City, California. She actually has a background as a volunteer for SHRM, the Society of Human Resource Management, who we are an affiliate of in good standing. We are actually the largest affiliate of SHRM in the United States, and I believe in the world. SHRM is pretty large, but they have 2 affiliates in Asia, one in India, one in China. I think we're larger than them, but can't be positive because I don't see those reports. So we are affiliated with SHRM, and they're one of our key partners. Rafael Rivera, we also have a staff, as Elisette said, we're right around 10 staff members strong right now, and Rafael Rivera is my supervisor. He's the Chief Executive Officer of PIHRA, and I really credit him for bringing together a fantastic team of association executives and of rebranding and refreshing our seminars and conferences. So for example, he's been with PIHRA 13 years now. So when he got here, we had the PIHRA annual conference, and now we have the California HR conference. So we're really California focused, and that is our niche, HR in California. Let me just tell you a little bit about the membership and pause for a second. Oh, great. Thank you, Meryl, for providing your cell phone. I mean, you can't get a better connection than Meryl. And she pretty much knows everything about PIHRA and has a lot of contacts. So she's a great connection. Hi, Kathy. Just wanted to say hi to you. Thank you for introducing yourself online. So who are PIHRA members? Before the pandemic, we had 4,500 members. I know we've dropped to around 3,500, but we're on the growth end again. But that's how many members we have right now. They represent right around 2,300 companies. Most of our members are at the HR generalist, HR manager, business partner level, right around, I believe it's 28% here in this infographic are HR directors and above. I also like to point out that right around 9% of our members are what I call service providers. And I introduced that concept earlier. Those are the benefit brokers, the staffing folks, the health and wellness individuals, the financial advisors and 401k folks, don't shy away from them. I know it can be intimidating and it may feel like they're trying to sell me something. Oh my gosh. Most of the members that we have and the volunteer leaders that fit into that category, they're really natural partners to the HR community. They're here to build relationships and learn about HR and get to know what HR deals with and try to help solve those issues for you. Plus, when you go to the chapter meetings, they are likely to know about what HR positions are available in their area because it's their job to network. They are connectors. That is what they do. So I really enjoy working with these folks and just want to encourage you not to feel intimidated. They're usually very friendly, knowledgeable, and know a lot about what's going on in the community, including what the HR positions available are, and they can connect you to those. Last but not least, right around two things. 40% of our HR members are certified. So I was putting in the chat, I passed my SHRM SCP in January of 2021. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. It was a tough exam. I'm going to, in the professional development portion, I'm trying to hurry to get there. I'm going to talk a lot more about that when we get there. But as you can see, HR certification is important to our members. We offer recertification credits in most of our professional development. And I'm a big advocate for HR certification. And I will talk more about that when we get to that slide. And I'll get there quickly. Top 4 industries represented by our members: manufacturing #1, consulting #2, nonprofit #3, and healthcare #4. That doesn't mean that we don't have members in other industries. These are just the top 4. Okay, here's the map. So this map shows where our 17 chapters are. We also have 4 communities that we'll tell you about. Our downtown chapter, which is PIHRA Los Angeles, they are our 2nd largest chapter. They are, like I said, struggling to find a permanent home for meetings. And what they've been doing is doing a chapter professional development meeting 1 month, then a webinar another month, and a social the next month. For like I said, they just held a social. You can the other day at Union Station at Homebound Brew House, which was really fun. They're a fantastic community, and you would expect to meet between 30 to 50 people at one of those meetings. Our largest chapter is South Orange County. They usually meet out of Irvine, and they're doing something similar, like having a lunchtime meeting. I think now they're meeting at Andre's restaurant in Irvine. Last night, they had a fantastic member appreciation social at, it's called Hangar 21 or something like that. And it looked so fun. They had 60 people or plus at those meetings. Pre-pandemic, they had 700 members, and if you were to go to one of those meetings, you'd meet like 100 people. We have smaller chapters as well. So we have chapters going as far north as Antelope Valley. That's a smaller chapter. They're not meeting as regularly. Santa Clarita meets every other month. Again, kind of like a smaller mid-sized to mid-sized chapter with around 100 members. Ventura County is a mid-sized chapter. They meet monthly. They meet out of Camarillo. We go as far west as West Los Angeles. They've been doing different sorts of meetings as well. So they just had a breakfast meeting in Santa Monica. They'll do a social in Malibu. They had a wine tasting in Malibu a couple of weeks ago. So a great dynamic group. And we go as far east as Coachella Valley and Riverside. So Meryl here represents Riverside. Our Coachella Valley group is a smaller chapter. They meet out of Desert Hot Springs, and Riverside meets in downtown Riverside, but they'll have socials like Meryl mentioned in Rancho Cucamonga and other places. If anyone has a particular question about a chapter, please put it in the chat. when you become members, I already mentioned this, you would select a preferred chapter. Now, I encourage you to go to other chapters. As a member, you can get the member rate and you can attend other chapter meetings. That's the beauty about PIHRA, that we are kind of like an umbrella organization, similar to SHRM, but not as big. But we have local communities throughout Southern California. So I would encourage you, they all have a different culture. So that's why I'm encouraging you to visit different ones to see where you like it, see where you fit, particularly if you're interested in volunteering. Meryl, did you want to add anything, or do you have any volunteer needs at Riverside?
Yeah. Actually, my co-chair and I, Maria, we just went over the list. So now it's an option to see if you're interested in volunteering on the portal, right? And so we're getting reporting of who's interested, and we had a list about 20 people. So our plan is like, that's a lot. We're very lucky. We already have a board of maybe 12. And what we're trying to do is, get these people involved and have them shadow each of us current board members and see where their strengths are and see where they could fit in naturally, right? So you don't have to be locked in and just doing one role. And we're going to plan on like alternating to see, what your strength is and what you liked. So right now, I would say just reach out to me. We do need some like social media help. And Maria's doing a great job, but that's something that we do want to hear more from people if they could help us with social media. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great. The PIHRA Foundation is one of our special interest groups, and they are a separate 501c3. They raise funds to offer scholarships to the HR community, and they also, from time to time, serve the community through offering mock interviews at high schools or local community colleges. They have been having some leadership transitions since before the pandemic, actually, but they are still offering scholarships. So if you're a student, I think this is Kathy, you said you were a student, apply for this scholarship. I think the HR degree scholarship can range between $500 to $3,000. That application is due in November. So please apply. They don't get enough people applying. There's also an HR certification scholarship that you want to apply for. So I see a couple of you that are interested in certification. So apply for that. Just know that the way that scholarship works is that you have to pass the test first, and then they reimburse you for a portion of your expenses for that. But please apply. Don't let that money go to waste. Another group I want to introduce you to is emerging leaders. So I am really excited about this. I know, Kathy, I think you were the only person I saw that said you're a student. We just appointed a new chair of the College Relations Committee, and we already have a chair for emerging leaders. So our emerging leaders chair is Christina Gonzalez Hicks, and our newly appointed College Relations chair is Eric DeWams, who's an attorney and so fun and so dynamic and so connected. I'm really excited about the future of this group. And Eric has some great plans, and I hope to help him implement those plans for students. We want more students to join. You're the future of HR. So, but they haven't been, I haven't heard of any events that this group is putting on lately, but they do exist and they are looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in this group, I'd be happy to introduce you to either Christina Gonzalez Hicks, who's the chair of emerging leaders, or Eric DeWams, who is fired up about working with students and bringing them together. So
yeah. I do want to add, Christina is part of PIHRA Riverside, and she was the chair before. She's the one that called me while I was in Mexico and saying, hey, you want to go be the chair? And here you go. So she will be at the August 10th event. So you can meet her live in person too.
Great, great. And just quickly, I am really proud of this group. In 2015, I helped establish this group, and we won the SHRM Pinnacle Award for our work in this area. So sorry, just had to plug that in. Government advocacy. Some of you may be interested in this a lot. This is a great way to get active in the community. And if you're interested in advocating for employer focused sorts of things or employee focused sorts of legislation. This is a great group. It's bipartisan. And they're doing, these are some ways for you to get involved. I'm going to send you the slide, like I said. So if you want information, you could check out their microsite. You can go on the calendar from time to time. They'll do government advocacy chats with legislators. So just yesterday, they had a chat with California Senator Lola Smallwood Cuevas, and she is on the Labor Commission, and she was just fantastic, has a great background in working with the community and doing research in workforce readiness and just the population in general that is ready to work vis-a-vis unemployment, and really focus on homelessness right now and trying to find creative ways to develop affordable housing for our employees so that our employers stay in California, which would be awesome, don't you think? But great group and a great way for you to get engaged. Benefits, I'm going to speed through this because I do want to get to professional development, but we have some fantastic online tools for you. And I've calculated that they're worth right around $12,000 for your investment of $150 to $175 a year. You get $12,000 worth of value. So we already talked about networking. That is key, priceless. I've spoken to longtime members that said they met their best friend through PIHRA, and they continue to go to PIHRA events together and continue to work with each other. They have now become HR consultants, which is a great way to build your HR experience. And they get referrals through each other and through the PIHRA chapter meetings. So that's another way to, that's another reason for you to attend chapter meetings. This is the place where you're going to build your HR expertise and increase your earning power. Like I said, free webinars. You want to stay abreast of everything that's happening in HR. We are particularly specialized in HR employment law. So you want to be that person at the organization that people go to when there is an employment issue that may lead to a necessary lawsuit. So this is a place where you're going to build that expertise. You also can save time and money with the PIHRA Workplace, which is an online platform powered by Mineral. And that platform, it's a little tricky to get onto. So if you're fresh, you're like, how do I get on here? Don't hesitate to either call or email me and Elisette. You're going to get our email if you don't already have it, and phone numbers with this deck. It has so much on there. It has a compliance center, forms, best practices on how to deal with different issues at the workplace. It also has what I call PIHRA Live, that is staffed by HR experts. They call them Mineral experts. You can call them an unlimited amount of time and ask them a question, and they'll respond to you within 24 hours and usually provide you with an email with some documentation related to your question. So they're just fantastic. Here's the number. You can call them Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. And this is what's new this year is PIHRA Learn. So PIHRA members have access to an online learning management system where you can train your employees. There's over 200 core courses available, ranging from harassment to customer service and things of that sort. It does not include the mandatory sexual harassment or the mandatory OSHA, but you can add those at an additional cost. But you can build learning tracks for your employees, and you can even get, I think it's like 20 to 30 minutes of help from a Mineral expert, so to get you started on how to use that tool. So some great tools there. PIHRA Connect. This is a great way for you to connect with people. So I know, gosh, who was it? Was talking about they want to. I think it was Alyssa. If you want to find people to study with, or you have questions about the SHRM certification and how to get through it, go to PIHRA Connect. visit PIHRA.tradewing.com today, log in. If you're a subscriber or a member, you should already have access. If you have any trouble gaining access, just let me and Elisette know. You could also use this QR code to get in there. You can ask questions on there. You can ask for advice. You can make friends on there. We're doing chats on there. So my chat regarding talent acquisition with Tremaine Friend is going to be housed on this platform. We just launched it in, I think it was June. So I'm really excited. There's a lot of activity there. It's kind of like a Facebook interface. So really easy for you to get on there, and really excited about that. It's another way for you to interact if you don't want to go in person to in-person events, although I do suggest you go to in-person events. I am thrilled to announce I'm UCLA undergrad. We'll go Bruins. I saw someone say go Broncos. I know, Meryl, you went to Cal Poly. I'm Bruin. I'm also a Pepperdine alum, so thrilled to announce this partnership. PIHRA members get a tuition discount on some of their graduate school programs and certifications. Not only you, but your spouse can also get a tuition discount. Volunteering. You know, I can't emphasize enough how powerful volunteering is. Meryl talked about it. I'm not going to talk about it too much more, but there's so many opportunities to volunteer. You can volunteer if you're new to volunteering. You can volunteer with a chapter. You can, if you just want to do like an ad hoc volunteer opportunity, you can volunteer at the annual conference that usually happens in May. I think next year we're going to do it in May. I think we're going to be in Long Beach again. So just scan this QR code if you're interested in volunteering and let us know in what region or how you'd like to volunteer, and you'll automatically get some information about that. So the volunteer piece is important. So, you know, I like to say it's just not enough to go out there and network and shake hands. Yeah, you might get to know people, but will they get to know you? And if you're looking for your next best opportunity and a fantastic job, you want people to know about you, your personality, the way you communicate, the quality of your work, how you manage your time. And those are skills that you build and you hone and you display as a volunteer leader. So it's, to me, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And when they have an opportunity available, guess who they're going to think about for a position? They're going to think about you. So volunteering is huge. Don't underestimate volunteering. Plus, the way to get a job, it's not really, frankly, even today, it's not applying through those online portals. That is a mess. It's about your network. And still to this day, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says that 70% of the people that find a job find it through their network. Enough said there. Okay, this is where I wanted to focus, and I have less than 10 minutes. Let me get to some of these questions here, because I think they're primarily volunteer. Leslie, thank you. If you're interested in volunteering, just email me and Elisette. We could talk a little bit more about that. Or if you weren't able to scan that code, you'll get these slides. So I see some other things. Kathy, interested in volunteering, same thing. I see you have some questions. Do we receive a membership card or a certificate for being a member? So we do not send out membership cards, but they're self-service. If you have any trouble finding out how to print it out, you would just log in and you get to a portal. I forget what it's called. I think it's your member profile, and you could print out your membership card, and that will just give you your expiration date, some key, I think it's your member type, and some key phone numbers, but no certificates from that. Let's see here, some other questions. Where do you suggest we start regarding certification for HR? Research, go on to, and Elisette's gonna either put this in the chat or include it in the email. Go to the two certification agencies. One is hrci.org and the other one is SHRM certification. Just Google it and find out what certification is best for you. Usually they're going to look at your education level and your experience. So it really depends on that. It's a very unique experience. I'll talk a little bit more about my experience with that. Um, and start looking into different prep classes. We have some, I'll talk about them in a moment, and talk to as many people one-on-one that are certified about their certification journey. The certification journey is very unique to every person. Again, I'll talk to you about my journey in a moment. In terms of the difference between PHR and SPHR, I'm sorry, the PHR, SPHR versus the SHRM SCP. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Don't let me forget. Let's see. Oh, good. So Elisette is providing that. Yeah, so PIHRA also provides certification prep courses. So please look into ours. We have one of the best certification instructors, Richard Dawson, that I have met ever. We've done research in that area, and we're also one of the most affordable. So these are the specialty programs. I've talked about chapter meetings. I've talked a little bit at the conference. We have a new specialty program that we're going to launch in the next few weeks that I'm really excited about. The series is called HR Power Series. So I'm going to leave you with that. Usually members get at least $10 off of at least the member rate. And just so you know, we also have a student membership, which is highly discounted. It's $35 per year. But there is a validation process. So we want to make sure that you are a full-time student and you're not fully employed. We do give discounts to fully employed students though. So please feel free to reach out to me or Elisette if you have any questions about that. I talked about free webinars, certification. Okay. This is where a lot of you had questions. HRCI was established in collaboration with SHRM around 40 years ago. They developed a slew of HR certifications, including the PHR and SPHR. So in 2015, SHRM decided to develop and launched their own certification called the SHRM CP or SHRM SCP. Now the PHR and SPHR, so the PHR is more a certification that shows mastery over the day-to-day HR sorts of tasks and responsibilities. The SPHR is called the Senior Professional HR certification, and that is for more senior HR professionals. So those folks who are sitting at the table with directors, vice presidents, and above, planning the future of an organization, creating HR strategy that aligns with organizational objectives, really kind of top level organizational development, HR strategy types of roles. So that's the difference between the PHR and the SPHR. Now, SHRM developed the equivalent. So the SP is again for the person that wants to show mastery over the daily HR skills and responsibilities. The SHRM SCP, the senior certification, which the one I received, is again that for that professional who is working with HR strategy, organizational development, the leadership training, succession planning, those higher level responsibilities where they're working with senior level folks. Now, the difference between the HRCI, which is the PHR, SPHR, and the SHRM, that is up for debate. So it can be a little controversial. I will give you my opinion. It's just mine. I did study for the SHRM SCP. I thought that the curriculum that they developed and the practice exams and reference materials that they developed for people to study to pass the class are excellent. Excellent. It's called the SHRM Learning System. I kept all the books. as my reference in my reference library. I feel, and well, what is a fact is that the SHRM CP and SHRM SCP exams, they are tough because they have more situational judgment questions, meaning you got to pick the best answer, not the right answer. So what the way SHRM describes it is that it's competency based. Now, I did take some of the practice exams for the SPHR and PHR, and that felt to me more like you got to pick the right answer, more kind of memorizing what the right answer is. That's my description of the difference. Again, I thought the SHRM SCP and SHRM CP was a challenge. There is, I think that the pass rate for the SHRM SCP, it hovers right around 49% to 55% pass the exam. I think the the SPHR, the pass rate's a little higher. So it can be a challenge. I suggest you take a prep class. I preferred the PIHRA, SHRM, SCP, and CP prep class. Richard Dawson is a nonsense sort of instructor, but the prep classes are not enough, and I'm running out of time. I spent, just so you know, I calculated 150 hours studying for the test because I did not want to fail the test and have to take it over. So it's a lot of work. Even if I've heard stories that VPs of HR go and take the test, they don't read any of the materials, they don't do a lot of practice exams, and they fail. And it's devastating because you're like, it's painful, right? So study, it's not a joke. You must study for it. I hope they answered most of your questions. They were all fantastic. So feel free to reach out to me if you have further questions. I would love to share my experience with you. The other last thing I want to mention about doing the prep courses is that that's where you're going to find people who are also studying. I started 2 or 3 study groups that were in addition to all my reading and all my self-study. So it really helped me stay accountable. We are known for employment law. Our California employment law update is coming up soon. Register today. They are fantastic in-person events, and we will also be hosting it virtually. Remember at the beginning I said, make a goal for yourself. Attend at least 2 professional development meetings through PIHRA. But hey, if you don't want to, if PIHRA is not your thing, I get it. Just don't isolate. That's one thing that I learned from this pandemic. So if you don't join PIHRA, please join another community that will help you. There's many associations out there. I participated as a volunteer with my women's club, my local women's club, with other professional associations, but I encourage you to become a part of the PIHRA community. Here's a list of things that we have going on, including the PIHRA Riverside event coming up, the tequila tasting. They also have a webinar coming up, which is free for members. And with 1 minute left, you can connect with us online. We have the PIHRA Connect platform. We have all our social media platforms. And again, thank you for joining. You could always reach out to me if you have further questions about HR certification or PIHRA in general. It was great spending the last 60 minutes with you. And Meryl, did you have some parting words?
No, I had a request because I've been getting those email samples of requesting from your company to, approve membership or these classes. I think that's super helpful to include in the chat or follow up with.
You know what? Great thing. We do have a justification letter template. If you want to go tailor that and speak to your supervisor so that they can help you pay for the membership. You should have a training budget at work. Use part of your training budget. I will, Elisa and I will send the justification letter out with the email with these slides so that you have that. Keep up your continuously learning is so important. Keep up your HR. Again, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, Meryl, for being with us today. And thank you all. I hope you got what you needed out of this 30 60 minutes.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, Mara. Hope to see you
Bye.
soon. Hope to
You
see
too.
you all. Take care.